how has the economy fared since 1999 when the Nigerian economy has experienced significant growth, particularly in sectors like telecommunications and oil, but has also faced challenges including oil price fluctuation, corruption, and infrastructure deficit. The economy, heavily reliant on oil export, has seen period of high growth during oil booms and, of course, lower growth during period of low oil prices. The Obasanjo government saw significant growth in GDP, particularly in the telecommunications sector. The Yar'Adua administration focused on the Niger Delta, agriculture, and, of course, the power sector as well. The Jonathan government saw the economic growth will become the Africa's largest, but also experienced a slowdown due to the oil prices crash. The Buhari administration faced 2 recessions and the impact of COVID-19. The current Tinubu government is navigating a period of what they called economic recovery and attempting to address various challenges. Quite a whole lot has happened since 1999 that we'll be looking at today, how all these successive governments have fared governing the Nigeria as a country. There, I'm being joined now in the studio by my guest, Dr. Ajíṣẹ́fínní Ayodeji. He's the agribusiness expert and, of course, enterprise development professional. He's the chairman, Enterprise Grooming Institute. Good morning, Dr. Ayodeji.
And happy Democracy Day. Thank
you so much. I'm from London. I'm being joined by Dr. Sam Omale. He's the president, CEO, Raw Global Investment Network. We expect him to join us in the course of this program as well. But let me start from the studio here, Dr. Ajíṣẹ́fínní. Give us an overview of what you think Nigeria has gained in terms of economic growth and development since 1999. 26 years of democracy, do you think we have fared so well?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity, and I say happy democracy to our audience at home. There are some basic facts that we need to express to ourselves in Nigeria. We, the enterprise developers, we look at economic sector of every country from 2 perspectives: public sector economy and private-driven economy. Nigeria since 1999 has been more of public-driven economy, which makes all the sectors in the country to rely on government allocation before they can survive. And this makes a lot of those private sectors that will be on their own to see the reality of how things goes in the private sector way. Now with this present administration, looking at it from his own perspective and background, he is a private-driven person. He is now using private sector economy to drive Nigeria. And that is why a lot of complaints are coming up, because we are used to public-driven economy. And what does that mean? In your private sector economy, you make people to realize that no work, no pay. In public-driven economy, monkey work, monkey no work, monkey must shop. And this makes it difficult for people to change. And one of the things that is difficult in life is changes. Our mindset has been signalized to public-driven economy. How the government then are running the economy of Nigeria, either borrowing or subsidizing this, subsidizing that, has make every one of us to see that if anybody comes and say, I'm no longer subsidizing, it's a crime. You are a businessman, I'm a businessman. We know what we meet in the field of business. We know the sacrifices we make in the circle of business. And to my own, and come back to your question, economy of Nigeria is becoming better day by day. The only problem we have is mindset of our people. How do we make their mindset to see the reality on ground?
If you say the Nigerian economy is becoming better day by day, there are a lot of Nigerians who will disagree with you, because if you look at where we were in 1999, this new republic,
do we have the same population?
This new republic were actually better at the time. If you look at the poverty rate at the time, it was fair compared to what now we are having right now.
Let me
look at the last report from the National Bureau of Statistics, a government agency. According to them, about 133 million plus Nigerians were in multi-dimensional poverty. I mean, we are only over 200 and something million people.
And
we have more poor people in Nigeria than a country like India that is over 1 billion people in terms of population.
Thank you. If you look at my intro, mindset. When we talk about poverty, let's define poverty. What is the source of poverty? It's a matter of mindset. I finished from school. I'm a graduate. I must work in a government agency. And if there is no work, government has not provided me work. Why then do you go to university? If you cannot see yourself to create a job.
Are you downplaying the role of government in empowering the people?
It is not even the issue of empowerment this time around, because I just came back from a capacity building
creating
section.
enabling environment.
Enabling environment is what we need. And when we are creating that enabling environment, we need to create a good mindset reorientation. 1999 to 2025 is about 26 years. The mindset we have been coming from is, one, government subsidize our fuel, government subsidize our dollar, government subsidize NEPA. As a businessman, are we selling at the real price?
But is subsidy itself a bad idea?
Subsidy is not a total bad idea. It's not for all general sectors.
But there are some key sectors, if you ask me, that need subsidy.
E.g.
food subsidy, petroleum subsidy as well.
Well, if you say petroleum subsidy, look at what is happening to the price of petroleum. Internationally, it has crashed. Are we producing up to what we budgeted for?
But some say when you take out the corruption in the subsidy, there's nothing bad in it.
There's nothing bad in it if you put out the corruption. Well, that's a school of thought. But let's see. I was telling somebody, you are a farmer. How do you determine the price of a tomato basket when government have already given you a subsidy of 50% on all inputs? How then do you determine the real price? As a cost accountant, you need to know the actual price and look at the subsidy before you determine your price. Now that the subsidy is no longer there, monopoly of petroleum, is it not decentralized now? Some people are selling at 850, some people are selling at 880. We are getting the real price, and people are making the real profit, not the abnormal profit. And I'm coming back to that issue of orientation. Public-driven economy never make us to see live the true position of our Nigeria economy. If truly we know this is the position of things, what government needs to do is to give us the enabling environment, giving the entrepreneurs, giving the young people graduating. Look at the student loan as a case study. Most students are now in universities. Pressures on their parents has come down. Yes, it's not up to expectation yet because of the population of university and students. But from school, can't we start giving them a better reorientation that you are leaving the school, think of what you will use your certificate to do, not what government will do again for you. Why must a graduate come out of school and say that government has not given me a job? It is not the responsibility of government to provide job for you, but you, what can you create for yourself? And the private sector that are there are meant to provide that job that you will come and learn and work with.
Well, I want to disagree with you. Government also need to provide jobs for graduates as well, because not everybody can go into private practice like yourself. We're still hoping to get Dr. Sam Omale to join us from London. But let's look at how the economy has grown since 1999. From 1999 to 2007, when we had the Obasanjo in the saddle, as at the time he left office, we had an economic growth of 6.95%. In fact, as at 2002, 3 years into his presidency, the economy grew at 15.33%. That was the highest that we have had so far. Under Yar'Adua, he left it at 7.98%. As at the time he left office, Jonathan left it at 4.80%, as if it were on a downward decline there. If you go to the Buhari era, that is when we had the worst, 0.31%. As at the time he left office, of course, you can excuse him because of he had to he managed low oil prices, and of course, we experienced 2 recession at the time. He also had to deal with COVID-19 as well.
The ratio of our debt.
As well, of course, and the debt ratio as well. We're going to go into all of that. But when you look at this kind of growth trajectory that is on a downward decline, what comes to your mind? Do you think we have really fared well as a people?
Sincerely speaking, we have not. Because the recession is a graph that started moving up. All of a sudden, it does not even reach the peak before it started going down. And what are the factors? Corruption is one of it. 2, lack of commitment. 3, relying so much on government revenue. Majority of people that are supposed to be in the sector of job creation see politics as a way out.
All right.
And 80% of our livelihood is now based on government. Population is not static. job creation is reducing, population is increasing. On the minimum level we have, what do you expect? When demand is greater than supply, recession will come in. And to recover from such, Nigeria being a complex country, we need a complex and dedicated, focused and determined leader to bring back that reformation, because we will resist it. And that is what we are facing presently.
All right, if Dr. Omale is there, let me go to him now. Dr. Sam Omale is the president of Rock Global Network in Rock Global Investment Network in London. Good morning, Dr. Sam Omale. All right, we're still hoping to get Dr. Sam Omale to join us from London, but still staying here in the studio. A lot has happened from 1999 to date. Let's take the Forex market, for example. Are you happy with where Naira is today, given where we were in 1999 when this democracy came in? I mean, if you look at it, at the time Abacha left office, Obasanjo came to office, Naira was around 88 to 120 Naira or thereabouts, if you look at the official and, of course, the parallel market rate. But if you look at what we have today, as we're speaking, is if you go to the black market, you cannot get it less than 1,600. At the official market, I've seen some appreciation in recent time, especially from since last week. We saw it declining from 1,500 and something to a little above 1,543. As at yesterday's was 1,539. The official market, more like some stability in that sector. But are you happy that the Naira value as it is a fair value?
It's not that a convenient value, but as an entrepreneur who needs to read from both sides, and whatever I'm saying this morning is my personal opinion, the way I see it as a person, is that before now, our government has been subsidizing dollar rate. That's we all know. And we at the same time, we discovered that there was a global recession that had to push up all the foreign currencies upward. We are in Nigeria, that's why we are seeing it at that. Now that the subsidy being given to dollar is removed, we now see the reality that truly this is our position. And why is it like that? It's just because our importation is greater than our exportation. Nigeria has become a dumping ground of foreign goods. What are we producing? How can we make our own value, our own currency to have value? Is by doing more of exportation. Exporting our own goods, we give our Naira a better position in the market. But if we still continue to be consuming what other people produce, may God help us.
Continue to be consuming what other people produce. Like you said, God help us. But how much have we done to encourage manufacturers? Are we ready? Are we fixing the power sector? The power sector is getting worse than it was in 1999. I mean, are we creating an enabling environment for the manufacturers to be able to thrive? It's more difficult now to manufacture in Nigeria than to import. So what necessary step are we taking in that regard to address this production level? A lot of people, manufacturers, I've spoken to quite a few number of them, who are saying that it is more difficult to produce here, more expensive to produce and sell in Nigeria than to import.
Yes, because the issue of power sector in Nigeria has been a problem since 1999. Which majority of the administration that comes in, goes out, don't want to tap into it. If you remember during Buhari regime, when the former Minister for Power and Housing investigated the issue, he said, if I can quote him right, if not, please pardon me, that the sales of power to private sector is difficult for government to intervene because it has been sold out. And the people that bought it are finding it difficult to run. The percentage of government in that organization now is minimal, meaning that they are the determinant of it.
So probably we sold it to the wrong people.
Right project to the wrong people.
So who should we blame?
The administration that was there. That's the government. Let's put it go because government is continuity. the government should look into it. What can we do? And you can see that majority of manufacturers now are diverting into alternative energy, because power cannot solve their problem and they cannot close down because of power. Yes, alternative energy is so expensive. Thank God for some development banks that are now supporting the manufacturing organizations in funding them in the alternative energy. Because we cannot in Nigeria survive with the present electricity as a businessman or woman.
Quite a whole lot there. Let's go to Dr. Sam Omale. Now I'm told that we have him now joining us virtually from London. Dr. Sam Omale is the president, CEO, Raw Global Investment Network, London. He's also an international capital market professional, governorship candidate in the 2023 election in Kogi State. Good morning, Dr. Sam Omale.
Good morning, Yusuf. How are you?
Very well. Good to see you again.
Oh.
The last time you were in the studio, but now you're back in London. Let's get your overview with regards to what, the Nigerian democracy since 1999. How do you think the economy has fared, given the statistic that we have? The Naira has, nosedived from where it was in 1999 to where it is currently, over 1,600 if you go to the parallel market. Of course, the inflation number is not also looking good. What is your assessment?
Well, the numbers don't lie. And they are clear for us to see that we are on a downward trajectory. That's the fact. We can't run away from the fact. Let's know our reality, then we'll know how to fix it. It's not been the best for us. And it's all down to politics rather than development, rather than economic development, rather than ideas and leadership. Politics in Nigeria is a destroyer. And it has destroyed us to the point that we are just in the middle of nowhere.
Indeed, we're in the middle of nowhere. Let's look at the trajectory at the time. The government in power at the time, from 1999, we saw them focusing on quite a whole lot. We saw Obasanjo focusing on telecommunications, and of course, the crude oil, Yaradua came in and of course took a drastic decision to restore what I would call sanity in the Niger Delta. He was able to restore peace to the Niger Delta region. He also focused on agriculture and of course the issue of power. Jonathan was also focusing on economy as well. At the time, we rose to become the largest economy in Africa with the highest GDP, even though by GDP per capita, we're still behind the likes of South Africa and, of course, Ghana and the rest of them. But in 2015, we saw a different scenario when President Muhammadu Buhari came on board. We went into a double recession at the time, and, of course, he also had to deal with COVID-19 with low revenue because the crude oil prices at the time were very, very low. And, of course, the current government is talking about economic recovery. How will you, what area do you think we should focus on now, given this trajectory that we have witnessed from 1999 till date?
You see, I think the problem we've been facing is developmental. And by that, I mean that the foundation of any economic growth has to be industrialization, has to be the building of infrastructure, industrialization, roads, power, telecommunication, those areas. So when we, like the passenger telecommunication boom, you see, it was built on the castle in the air, because it was not built on an advanced technology by which you can grow. Meaning that all the telecommunication companies that come to Nigeria had to buy their own generators and power them. And they generated income from Nigerians and took it away. I think majority of them were in South Africa. They were not even in Nigeria. So the telecommunication that came did not actually, in the economic terms, improve us. And ditto to all other visions and developments that we have been following, it's not built on it. Because if you are not industrialized, there's no way you can improve anything. You're going to have your agricultural produce and send them raw abroad. They'll be processed and they'll be brought back to you more expensive. So that's the problem we're facing. Until we build our infrastructure, until we build our industrialization, we are just talking. We're not moving anywhere. Every revolution began with an industrial revolution. And until we build that, we're going to be wasting our time. We're not going anywhere. And I've not seen any government that is serious, especially on power. None. I know Pastor spent some $17 or $7 billion somewhere in Mabila, didn't amount to anything. Who is sabotaging our energy in Nigeria? That's the core things we should be talking about. Otherwise, it's a waste of energy and resources.
Indeed, we're talking about building infrastructure, which is very key. This government, when they took out subsidy, they said that the savings from there will be reinvested into infrastructure development as well. And of course, recently there was a piece of news that said that $84 billion were saved from subsidy, and this money have already been invested into about 40 roads. That is according to that piece of news there. Do you think we're actually doing so much? $84 billion is not, is a lot of money. That is about 3 years or 2 years plus of our budget. Do you think we're actually managing these funds properly?
It doesn't look so to me, because if you're talking of 84 billion, is it dollars or naira? Dollars.
Dollars.
Do you know what our GDP is as of today? 200 something billion. So you can see that it's a whole percentage of our overall GDP. But where is the evidence? And that's the frustration everybody in Nigeria is following. We're hearing these amounts, but we don't see the evidence on the ground. The cost of building a rail network or a road network in Nigeria is 50 times what it takes any other place in the world to do, which comes down to the corruption we're talking about. And as long as we're engaged in this noise, Nigeria is not going anywhere. We're only going down. 84 billion can translate that economy into an established economy. 84 billion, definitely. So, but where is it? Where is the power generation? Where is the rail network? Where is the road? So these are the things. Until we have this in place, we are just building castles in the air. Industrialization, economic development is based upon infrastructure, and it's not in talking. I think most of the thing I'm seeing in Nigeria is too much television talking, too much people defending the indefensible, too much people just speaking. Development does not come by speaking, it comes by doing. And doing is evident by what we see on the ground. Until we see that the energy, especially, is established in Nigeria, we're not going anywhere.
All right, we're not going anywhere. But before I come back to the studio, the government has prided itself as the current government as carrying out what they call economic recovery. They are carrying out quite a whole lot of reforms, and they are saying that the reform in no time will begin to benefit Nigerians. And people are asking, if you're doing the reforms, are you going to be the one to begin to, appraise yourself? Why not let Nigerians who are the one facing the consequences of these policies begin to, appraise the government themselves?
Well, the government should not be appraising itself. Like I said, if there's economic reform that is positive, the evidence should be seen in the numbers, in the unemployment rate going down, in inflation going down, in interest rate going down, in the ease of doing business going up, in the attraction of foreign investments going up. It will be evident. It's not that's what I'm saying. It's not in television discussion. It's on the roads. So if the reforms and it should be immediate. There's nothing to be. It should be immediate. If the 84 billion has been plowed into the economy, we should be seeing the effect immediately. It shouldn't be tomorrow. We will see construction going on. We will see smoke going on in our factories. We will see millions, hundreds of thousands of youths being engaged. So these reforms have to manifest itself, and the people themselves will know. It's not for anybody to tell anybody. All this commissioning we are doing in Nigeria, that I'm saying is politics and is distractionary, it's diversionary. Let people see it. If the roads are good from Abuja to Lokoja, my state, nobody has to tell me. When I saw some development at the airport the other day, I wrote about it. So you see something, and I thought of just ease of entry into Nigeria, which is so difficult. When I saw it the last time I was in Nigeria, I wrote to the minister. In fact, I saw him there, and I commended him. The people are the ones to appreciate, not the government blowing its trumpets.
Indeed, not the government blowing a trumpet. Let me come to the studio, Dr. Ayodeji. You listen to him there. When you put $84 billion into this economy, I don't think everybody will be looking for the impact.
People wants to know the impact. And what is expected is just like the...
But do you think government need to explain to us that they put $84 billion? $84 billion is not the money that is going to be hidden.
You see, one thing I will just say to that is, for people not to be so disturbed, such a money should be documented as a documentary program. This is our savings. This are the project and the project cost, what it cost us to get it. Everybody may not be able to have the opportunity to view it, but some that know how to review project will review and say, no, this is good, no, this is bad. Criticism will come, but it's good to give explanation. Hearing figure will be disturbing. $84,000 converted...
$84 billion.
$84 billion converted
that
to
is
naira.
Trillions.
That's trillions. Somebody that has not been able to operate his or her own factory for the past 3 years, we look at it, what have they used it for? It's good in Nigeria today to remove politics from our infrastructural development. Everything should not be politicalized. That is another issue that is affecting our growth in Nigeria. All aspects of livelihood is politicalized. And that is why even in agri, food insecurity is still persisting because of politics involved in government interventions.
Indeed, that is an area that I think we should also look at, which is very, very critical. Talking about agriculture, how far do you think we have fared so far from 1999 to date? It doesn't seem that the government policies have really worked. I remember some few government that took agriculture very seriously. President Umara Musa Yar'Adua was very, very serious when it comes to agriculture. It was one of his focal points at the time, agriculture and power. Jonathan was also critical in that area as well, with Akumi Adesina as one of the super minister under his government. And of course, President Muhammadu Buhari also created some policies, Anchor Borrowers Program, and quite a whole lot of other incentives for farmers to be able to, to ensure food sufficiency for Nigeria. But this government is also saying that they are also investing quite a whole lot. Don't forget the declaration of state of emergency on food security and a whole lot of that. How far do you think all these policies have actually fared? If you want to go back to the 80s when we had the OFN and so many other green revolution and quite a whole lot of them, it doesn't seem to be getting it right in agriculture.
Sincerely speaking, it is correct. Since 1999, it has been a zigzag in the agricultural sector of this country because of the politics involved. Look at during President Obasanjo, who we see as our father, as a farmer, that we know how to solve the problem. It's easier said than done. The implementation makes all its effort in reviving the agricultural history of Nigeria to come back to normal because of the implementation. It's easier to have policy, but it's difficult to implement accordingly. There are so many Ogase, and Ogase is affecting a lot of things. Look at it, the issue of AXMES, the issue of Anchor Borrowers Program. Some people are still solving it. Who are the suppliers of the input? Are they supplying the correct quantity, the correct quality? Are they supplying as at when due? Is it during the season or off season when the product comes? Are they even giving it to the right farmer? The last program you did on Thursday, a week ago, if I can remember, you brought in the president of an association. If not for his intervention, those people wouldn't have gotten their fertilizer. I listened to that program. That is what is happening generally. And these political farmers, the category referred to as political farmers, have edge over the real farmers.
Indeed.
And what is the way forward? It's better the so-called political farmers and their constituency leaders should please monetize whatever they want to do and leave the real farmers to the hands of the association. Let the association be responsible.
Why is it difficult for government to deal with associations? Some of these associations have direct access to the real farmers. Yes, I have interacted with some of their leaders, and I've also been privileged to follow them to some of their the areas I've been to, Kano and so many other places where they own farmland. And I've seen them real time but getting access to government in most cases has always been difficult.
Yes, because according to the stories in town, that the political farmers are the people in charge. Why the association? Two, leadership of association has an impact again. Because leadership of some associations have been politicalized. I'm not mentioning any names, but there are some associations that their leaders are not even practicing what they call the farming. And such a person, what do you expect? There are some associations that you find out to see that the leadership are being instituted by the government itself, either in the state, at the state level or at the national level. And thirdly, we need to go back to farm settlements if any government policy will work well. Cluster farming. Supply the inputs to the farmers at the point of need at the farm. Look at what government invested into the tractor. Yes, we can't have enough. Government should make it an atmosphere that is conducive for investors to come and
talking about the tractors, the government said about 2,000 tractors were brought in as well. But I have interacted with some people, and they say when they went to the place and at the delivery point or thereabout, what they see was not up to 300.
Maybe they are doing it batch by batch. But what I'm trying to say is, are we not up to the level of having an assembling plant of tractor in Nigeria? Yes, if tractor is capital intensive, why not look into power tillers?
All right, let me take you to Dr. Sam in London. Dr. Sam, my guest in the studio is talking about having assembling plant for tractors or even some automobile in Nigeria. Do you think we have the right infrastructure to achieve that?
Let me take you back. Let me take you back to the policy on agriculture. You see, a policy is like a statement of mission. It's a mission statement with manuals, with actionable plans on how that vision can be achieved. We don't have one. Nigeria does not have a policy on agriculture that I understand it. For example, if you want to tackle with the issue or you want to use agriculture as a major sector of your economy, you have two goals. Number one, food security and export. Those will be defined. In doing that, you create an enabling environment by empowering the farmers. For example, ensuring that whatever they produce, the government will buy. You subsidize their product. In the UK, anywhere in the world, farmers are subsidized. Farmers' activities are subsidized because they are the one that feed us. And every country ensures that whatever is produced in their country is not imported in. But you go to Nigerian shops, you're going to see oranges, you're going to see all kinds of stuff being imported into that country. So we should be I can't bring potato from Nigeria to this place. I cannot, because even though we have a better brand taste of potato, I can't bring it to this country because they farm potatoes here. So every government protects their agricultural sector. Nigeria, I don't know the policy they have. So if you are serious about agriculture, these two goals must guide you. We must be self-sufficient in food. The last I checked is that food inflation has been rising in Nigeria, which is an abnormality if you ask me. So we have to be serious about it. There are too many institutions, organizations, like you just mentioned, who are bureaucracies, who are blocks to our development in agriculture. Agriculture is a straightforward thing. You till the land, you plan to harvest, period. There's nothing complicated about it. What are you having associations for? Go to my village, we have land for everything. Cassava, yam, beans, whatever it is. Go to areas where they have this, empower the farmer directly. Let them harvest. Assure them that they will not lose any income from what they produce. Government buys them, put them in silos, which we used to have in the north. We used to have granite silos. We used to have this in before. How we are so confused with all this noise, green revolution, feed the nation, all these table politics that we are doing, they don't manifest into real food on the table. Nigeria has its position to have exports, income from exports. on agriculture to be higher than the income we get from oil. From oil. So do away with all these organizations and all that, and be realistic. Do things with vision and with metrics to measure performance, not noise making.
Not noise making, not propaganda. Doctor, let's also look at the issue that you have just talked about now, talking about moving away from oil dependence. I mean, a lot of talks about economic diversification for a very, very long time. Almost every government, come to sing it as praise almost every time, but it doesn't seem to take any necessary step to actually actualize that. Well, we keep, anytime there is a low oil prices, we amplify the economic diversification agenda. But the moment there is a respite there in the global energy market, we tend to relax and, of course, focus on the revenue coming from crude oil. How far do you think we can go in achieving all of this? Do you think we are really serious in having an economy where we have various sources of revenue?
Definitely. Nigeria should look. That country, only God will deliver us, and its lack of leadership. If we gave palm kernel to Malaysia in the 60s, and Malaysia's major income is from palm oil, how are we not able to get that? The source of income for Malaysia is palm oil, which is more expensive than crude oil. In the commodity exchange, it's about $500 per whatever they measure it. Whereas the crude oil is what? $170-something. So palm oil, that land is good for flowers. Kenya, Uganda, and so many countries export flowers that grows widely in that country. Even for the diasporan population abroad, we package our products abroad, we will be better off. Imagine a tiny country like the Netherlands that is under below sea level. Their income from agriculture is higher than what Nigeria gets from oil. And there's no land in Netherlands. They are under the water. So we're not serious. That's what I'm saying. That anything, pear, groundnut, there's no crop that doesn't grow up in Nigeria. Bananas, so many things. So I don't understand this thing. Why are we so fixated on crude oil that the world is already leaving it anyway? In 5 years' time, UK will not need petrol. Everything is getting out of this. Saudi Arabia diverted from crude oil over 20 years ago. Same to the UAE. Why are we still fixated on this building this bogus sorry.
All right. I think my guest is still there. Okay, all right. We'll get back to Dr. Sam. Dr. Ayodeji, you're listening to Dr. Sam there. It does seem that we're not serious. We'll just do some cosmetic project, and at the end of the day, government expects the people to clap for them.
Maybe. You see, just to do a follow-up to what the Dr. Sam said, we are not prepared. You can't see any revenue generation in the Nigerian budget from agriculture. All the expectations of Nigerian budget since 1999 is based on crude oil. And just like what he said, Nigeria has the potential of making ×2 of what oil is giving to us. If we have a leader that is determined and wants to use agric as the basis of revenue generation. And when we are even talking about...
But it does seem that we have abandoned agriculture completely. What happened to the groundnut pyramid in Kano? The cocoa house in Ibadan is still as tall as
where are the farmland
a very good
again?
building. But if you go to that place now, it's more like a place now that is not even accessible anymore. What happened? At what point did the rain start beating us?
Okay, let's start from this. Don't let us put all the blames on the federal government. What about the state? Let's start from the state level. All the farmland, all the land that are supposed to be for agriculture has been revoked and used for urbanization, development. They are calculating and projecting on increase of the population and shelter, not considering what will they consume. All the land for all this have been converted to residential or commercial or religious houses. Where then do we farm on? One. Two, insecurity. Haven't we seen since 1999 that we have been clamoring on insecurity? This thing is not a new thing. I believe it becomes a serious issue during President Jonathan period, when this issue of kidnapping of Chibok girls. And from there on, it has become a generality cause on Nigeria. That follows. Three, how many presidents here are Greek or governor of a state? If we are to look at it generally, in the northern part of Nigeria, we can say 2 or 3 governors are more interested in agriculture, while others are not. We have 6 geopolitical zones. The north central are blessed with some crops that are for exportation. Sesame seed is for export. Groundnut is for export. Soya is for export. What are we doing? Are we tapping into it in the north central? Northwest, livestock is one of the major income generating parts. Do we see it as a foreign earning product? Northeast, protein source, hibiscus, etc., ginger. Countries, Nigeria happens to be one. Nigeria and Spain are the major producers of hibiscus flower. Are we tapping into that opportunity? We are not looking into all this area. Come to Southwest. Tuber fruits, tuber crops are our major thing. Nigerian yam cannot go out of Nigeria. Why?
And because of our preservative or the kind of fertilizer that we apply.
That is just it. And the population of people in agric are reducing by hundreds, while the population of giving birth and increasing number of residents are increasing. What do you expect? And all of us are relying on government posts to survive. There are some states in Nigeria that are public-driven states. Salary earners never collect salary, no economy. Is that a good state?
Yes, indeed. That's a very big question. Is that a good way to run an economy? Dr. Sam is back online now. Dr. Sam, before that brief break there, you were making some very important points there.
I don't know the point you heard me to, but I was saying that, just like your guest there is saying, Nigeria should be looking towards agriculture. Every section of that country has areas of specialization, like he said, and each one of them is enough to bring us out. Let's go to things that we already have, and agri should be number 1 in our foreign exchange earning sector in that country. Like I said, every crop grows well, everything grows well. And even if you have to start with meeting the diaspora needs alone, you'll be fine. A small piece of yam is 5 pounds. 5 pounds, that would be about 10,000 naira in Nigeria. Small piece, not big. Ginger, mushroom, all kinds of stuff. We need a proper policy on agriculture, a minister that understands what that means and how to do it. But at the moment, we're just appointing politicians into these offices without giving them actionable plans of what to achieve and be measured upon. Every ministry should be given a target. A target for Ministry of Agriculture should be by 2026-27 food sufficiency and food export. Any minister that does not meet it should go. And farming is only seasonal in Nigeria, which shouldn't be. We have so much water flooding all over the place that can be channeled into all season cropping in Nigeria. But to allow the water to drown us, in Niger, people are dying in Kwara, in Kogi, even in far north, flooding all over the place. This water should be channeled into agriculture. So it's all left to management and to leadership deficit that we are suffering at the moment. Too much politics is destroying Nigeria.
All right, Dr. Sam, away from agriculture, there's an area I want us to talk about before we wrap up this conversation. It's talking about punishment for bad behavior. We saw a lot of people who have committed economic crimes walking about freely. It's just a question of, playing your game. What it seems like is like, in Nigeria, we reward bad behavior while we punish good behavior. I mean, how can a country develop with this kind of mindset?
One of the major problems that has plagued Nigeria is lack of consequence. That's the only country can do anything, virtually anything, and get away with it. You can run at 150 miles on the street of Wuse, knock 10 people down, and go. Nobody will catch you. Kill 10 people. Nobody will catch you. No consequence. Herdsmen, bandits, so-called, have been slaughtering people in numbers. None of them have been arrested and tried. Then you talk about economic crimes. You see, the theory behind economic crime in Nigeria is they only punish you if you have stolen too little to give out. So the person that stole 10 million will be embarrassed out of office. I know a gentleman that was embarrassed out of office for 10 million. But I also know a former governor who just bought a 1.2 billion car only 2 days ago, who's been probed for 89 billion fraud. So if you steal so much, you give out to the judges, to the lawyers, and you keep the rest. Otherwise, all the cases that have been outstanding in Nigerian courts for economic crime, let's say for the past 5 years, there should be no reason why any case will last more than a month. No reason. Money is traceable. That's my area. You trace, there's a trail. If you give me somebody to probe now, it will take me 1 week to get everything out and get the money out. So 2 things should happen. There should be consequence, but because these people steal money and run to political parties for cover and fund political parties. So thieves that should be in prison find their way in parliaments. How will it work? That's the problem. In China, you'll be a thief, a corrupt person will be shot. In Nigeria, they buy their way into power. There are so many people in the parliament now who were driven from here, who stole money from America and others, who were debarred from practicing. But they are the lawmakers in Nigeria. So we should be serious about these things. Unless there's a consequence for actions, we're going nowhere. Number 2, there should be law of unexplained wealth. If you are displaying so much wealth, where is your factory? Where is your business? What is the source of your business? But no, once somebody comes up with the kind of wealth, we just begin to worship them. That should not be. You have to. My father taught me that if you don't know how to, if you don't explain how you got it, you're a thief. So we should enforce the law of unexplained wealth. It's applicable in the UK here. If you all of a sudden you begin to display some wealth, the government will invite you. And if you cannot explain, you take your money back. Let me tell you, all the money that have been stolen in Nigeria, we don't need to borrow loans. We don't need to go for loans. All the money that have been stolen in Nigeria, if 10% of them is collected into the treasury, we're fine. That's how unserious we are. So, and the clog, the difficulty is that these people steal so much, they're able to bribe their way through and find themselves in the Senate, find themselves as governors, find themselves into government, and there's no way to fight it. So I think until we, the people, begin to desist from hailing these people and following them blindly and say, look, we need people that are not corrupt, people that are not, people that are serious, people that have our interests in mind. Unless we insist on that, we'll be taking for a ride for a long time, and Nigeria is going nowhere. In fact, if it's going anywhere, it's backwards. This is not how we were some 10, 20 years ago.
All right. Dr. Sam, before I let you go, I want to ask about the financial market development since 1999. I recall at the point we have over 100 banks. We saw the recapitalization exercise under the former CBN governor, talking about Professor Chukwuma Charles Soludo, who is the governor in Anambra State. Do you think we've been able to make progress from 1999 to today? We're at the point where the banks cannot just, go under and take depositors' money anymore. Don't you think we've made a lot of progress in that regard?
You see, bank is measured by impact on the real economy, period. And the problem I've had with Nigerian banks is that they're actually not doing what we call real banking model, which is the creation of loans. If you create loans, businesses that are existing can expand, new businesses can come and establish, and when they establish, they engage people, they produce, they sell, they make income, and they expand. That's how it works. Nigerian banks don't give loans out. And if they do at all, they give it at an astronomical interest rate that does not make sense, business sense. So it's not the multiplicity of banks, it's of their impact on the real economy, which I think is zero. What banks are doing, they are trading. They are trading with your money. They are buying short-term commodities and selling them. They are trading in foreign exchange. They are doing round tripping. They are not doing real banking. In fact, it's a study I will want to do very soon on actual bank income, the studies of bank income in Nigeria. On the capital market side, capital markets also, like Nigerians, they jump on things. As far as I'm concerned, the Nigerian capital market is not mature or developed enough for trading. It should only be for investment. And as long as we're bringing this trading in, gambling comes in and we're all over the place. Fintech is not yet established, but everybody in Nigeria is fintech. There's numerous payment outlets. See, there's confusion all over the place, and we need discipline to harmonize all of these financial areas.
Doctor, I must hold you there. Dr. Sam Omale, President, CEO, Rock Global Investment Network, International Capital Market Expert, governorship candidate in the 2023 governorship election in Kogi State. Thank you for your time and that incisive analysis there. We appreciate your time. Have a very good day in London. Let me come back to the studio and my guests, in 60 seconds, the issue around the punishment, lack of punishment for bad behavior is becoming a norm in Nigeria. You can take whatever you want from government coffers. As far as you can bribe your way through, you are free.
Well, that's part of the crisis and challenges we are facing in the Nigeria political cycle. Because they all belong to the same umbrella, the same house, the same family house.
No, it's just about changing the party names.
Changing the party names. But the day is serious.
The actors are the same.
The actors are the same because during the day you see them different. At night they come together under one family name. But what we will appeal to them is, please, enough of this. Come to this. Your sin are forgiven. It's making the young generation to be more worse. Because all this our Gen Z.
We're setting a bad precedent for the
young people.
All right.
And it's not the best we need in Nigeria now.
It's indeed not the best we need for Nigeria now. Well, let's also encourage people like you who believe in accountability to also go into politics. They are good men. Good men should go into politics.
Good men that you see in politics find it difficult to get to the post.
Yeah, well, we can begin. We can continue to fight until we actually get it. Dr. Ayodeji, agribusiness expert, enterprise development professional, chairman, Enterprise Growing Institute. Thank you for your time for joining us on this special broadcast. We appreciate your time.
It's my pleasure.
All right, with that, we'll go on a very quick break now for this segment. Of course, after the break, my colleagues, Shafiu and of course, Hawa will be back to continue the program. Don't go away.